Okay,
Hi, everybody. I'm Brendan Murphy.
Matthew Brown.
And today on A Few Good Movies, we're talking about Home Alone, 1990 film directed by Chris Columbus, written by John Hughes, on its 30th anniversary. It's coming up. Not necessarily the day we release this, but like within the week. And God, it's just, you have those movies where you're like, there's no way it's 30 years old. Like, how is Home Alone 30 years old right now? Like, that makes no sense.
That's one of those. It's one of those movies that kind of ages us. It makes us like, damn. Okay, so
Like,
Home Alone.
Like, I've been watching this movie my entire life, and just to
every
know that it's just like, Jesus, I'm old. Like, oh my God. It's the same with like when you think about it, how Shrek is like 20 at this point, and you're just like, yeah, like it's just
say
like
that out loud. That hurt to hear, man.
right. Like,
Good God, Shrek
came out like
last year. No, it's not 20 years old.
Yeah, it's almost there. It's like at least like 18, something like that. Like it came out early 2000s, like in that like 2000, 2002 range. Like that's right. But like this is one of those movies where you're just like, really, 30 years old. Like, what a different time. Like in the way we make movies and like how family movies were made. Like I feel like this is one of those like not last, but like wow, they really put that shit in a kid's movie. That's insane. Like, and we're going to obviously get into it, but like the last 30 minutes, like think about it from the burglar's perspective. They're just getting tortured by an 8-year-old for the last like 20 minutes of this movie.
One of the best lines that Joe Pesci even says is, "We're getting scammed by a kindergartner."
Right?
I love it.
It's great. Dude, those three main performances, Culkin, Pesci, and Stern. Like, man, it's just magic. It really is.
All day long.
Absolutely.
They're so funny.
100%. And I'll get into that later. But, like, I don't know. I want to do a little bit like with my experience at Home Alone. Like, this was obviously, for me, like, in my family, like, what are the movies that's always on during Christmas?
Same.
Like grandparents, parents, kids, everybody was like, oh, Home Alone is on. We're all gathering around the TV right now because it's Home Alone time. Like one of the like landmark Christmas movies, I feel like it's definitely a top 5 one for me. I'm sure like, I mean, we did this because it's also around like Christmas time, and I'm sure like when Christmas time comes around, we'll like do our whole like top 5 Christmas movies, all that fun stuff. Cause like, that's just like the fun thing to do. But like, this is one of those for me. When I watch it, like I feel like, oh, it's Christmas time.
Absolutely.
Like I feel like around this early part of November, like everyone has their thing. Like, okay, it's Christmas. Like, let's get ready. What's the first thing you do? One of the first things I do is always watch Home Alone to like get in the spirit and everything like that. And then I wait for Chick-fil-A to put out the peppermint chocolate chip milkshake because that's literally it's a cup of Christmas. I can't wait. But like. Yeah. I don't know. Do you remember how you came to it, or is it pretty much the same? We're just like you can't remember. Yeah.
I remember it was definitely it was a yearly thing. Like it was a Christmas thing. Honestly, I remember it being a big one we would watch on like Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. It seemed like that one, and of course, what was it? A Christmas Story were always on TV at that time.
Yeah.
The Christmas Story was good, but it was just a little played out. I think I had seen it enough, and Home Alone just never gets old. So, I mean, yeah, it was every year I'd see Home Alone on. I can right now, like, close my eyes and, all right, I'm watching Home Alone. I know exactly where I'm sitting, and there's a little tree to the right of me with presents. I got there's garlands hanging around the, what's it called, the railing, the banister. I'm right there. My dad's in the back. He's probably cooking food either in the kitchen. Me and my brother. Sure. My brother's on his phone talking to some girl, thinks he's a cool guy. I'm locked into Home Alone.
For sure.
Dude, yeah, it's a vivid memory I have with Home Alone. It really hits home.
Yeah. I mean, it's also that thing, too, where it's just like, I can't remember a time where I didn't know what Home Alone was and, like, how, like, I know every line. I know every moment. Like,
Home Alone is like LeBron James and Tom Brady. Like, they've been relevant since I've been existing.
Yeah, it's just like I was watching Home Alone when I was like 3 or 4 years old. Like, what? Like your family's not going to watch Home Alone with you when you're like 2 years old? Come on. Like it's
you were deprived as a child if you did not get to watch Home Alone with the family.
It's like it's one of those movies like The Wizard of Oz and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's like you're not going to show your kid Home Alone at Christmas. Like, come on.
Yeah, Home Alone is, especially the first one in general. I mean, the second one's
Yeah.
really good. They lose me from there. But the
For sure.
first one, oh man,
It's like we were talking about it a little earlier. Like the first one is legitimately like a perfect movie.
it's
like
how we were talking about Ocean's 11 being like the perfect crime movie. This is like the perfect heartwarming, fun Christmas movie.
Well, it's also just like perfect family comedy because like I still contend perfect Christmas movie is still It's a Wonderful Life because I'm a like nerd about that shit where it's just like that's the one. But like this movie is just like pure unadulterated like what you want out of a kid's movie. Like it's Home Alone.
Yeah, it's excitement on it's. What I like about it a lot too is like the comedy and things that come from it aren't geared like towards children or it appeals to every level the way this story plays out and the way they tell it, the way they chose to do it.
For sure. And I mean, obviously I feel like a lot of that comes from John Hughes, like obviously one of the most influential and prolific directors of the 80s, essentially defined what 80s movies were. Like whenever you think of 80s movies, you think John Hughes, you think Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, all that stuff. Like that's straight from him. And like to see him work on this more like PG level, you like wish he would do it more because he's so good at like just every bit of it. Like it's
creative ways to do it.
Yeah. It's so fun while also still telling a pretty compelling story. It's just, you can already see like the wheels turning, like what, like I can't imagine like what that man is thinking when he was like, okay, for the last 20 minutes, I'm going to put Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern through hell. Like how much fun would that be to write that shit and like come up with it and like test, like that's got to be some of the most fun shit as a writer to do that kind of stuff.
That moment in the writing room was a good time to be like, all right, let's fuck these guys up. Let's go for it. Let's get out of control. Think of the most outlandish stuff and make it happen.
Oh, dude. I mean, we're gonna get into it when we get into it, but like I have so much to say. It's just so insanely good. That entire like last sequence. And it's just also like I agree with you too about like Home Alone 2. Like I feel like when you're a kid, Home Alone 2 is your favorite, and when you like grow up, Home Alone is your favorite. Because Home Alone 2 is truly like a kid's fantasy. Like
yes, perfect.
Like you think back to when you're a kid and you literally think the height of existence, like you could not be happier, is when Kevin McCallister gets the limo, he gets the pizza, he gets the soda, and he's just like watching the Grinch and he's on his way to a toy store. Like that is the height of being a kid. Like no one ever had it better than those like 5 minutes. And every kid is watching that just like, I wish that was my life. Like I want that so bad.
That is so accurate because literally I used to like the second one more. And it's because of things like that or all the access he had to like candy and the things he could order from room service.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, like I said, when you're 7 watching this, you're like, this would be incredible. This would be the best thing ever. The toy store was fake as could be. I don't even know where to even find a toy story like that. That to me is where you find the toys that come alive in Toy Story. Like they're in that building.
Yeah. And it's like the last, like basically the Harry and Marv torture sequence in the second one is like, it's bigger, it's better. It's got like, like this one is bordering on insane. The second one is truly insane. We're like they would be dead if the things that happened to them in Home Alone 2 happened. Because like literally it starts off, Kevin McCallister is throwing bricks at these guys and hitting them straight on the head. Like there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, there's not as much buildup in the second. They just are like, well, you guys know this drill. It's like a Tom and Jerry in the second one. Instead of like having this story build up, they're like, there's still a story. It's the same one.
Yeah.
But let's really amp it up and beat these guys up.
Yeah. And like this one, the one in this one is still a little Looney Tunes-y, like, and we'll get into that when we talk about it. But like, it truly is just like they have Marv turn into a fucking skeleton in the second one when he gets shocked. Like, it's literally just like, we're going to put a cartoon on screen. And I'm down for that shit. But like, I agree. This movie does a lot better of just like setting up what's going to be happening to these guys later. Cause like, obviously it talks about like, Like the whole like even Kevin's dad is like, pick up the micro machines like out in the foyer, someone's gonna slip on them, and like there's just like shit like that all over the place and stuff like that.
What I think they do a really good job of is, even though that first hour is like a build up, it's entertaining. It doesn't
Absolutely.
it doesn't it's a setup, but it doesn't feel like it. It just feels like you're like naturally like going through this story, and it's just unfolding the way it needs to, and then you can just see the setup naturally coming out of it, and you're like, okay, it's about to be crazy.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it. It doesn't feel like a forced like, hey, this is what we're building up to.
Yeah. And also you have the benefit of having one of the single greatest child performances in a movie ever. Like, I don't know how I would rank them, but like this is definitely a top 5 one. Like, whenever you think about like a kid in a movie, like I think of Kevin McCallister. I think of Macaulay Culkin.
If we're talking individual performances, yeah, he ranks up there for sure. I would go as like The Sandlot, but there's multiple people that make that.
True.
So that's hard to like compare.
But like the thing for me is this man, he's carrying the movie.
He is.
Like he's carrying it in his tiny 8-year-old hands, and he's fucking nailing it. And like we're gonna talk about how big of a success this movie is, but like this kid, like off of this performance, he gets to hang out with Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. Like he's a world famous star after this movie because of how good he is.
Yeah, no, he literally goes to superstardom because of how successful. I mean, Home Alone is
literally like the reason Home Alone 2 is not as good is because I feel like Macaulay Culkin has too big of a chip on his shoulder. He's just like, listen, I am Macaulay goddamn Culkin.
Unstoppable. Yeah, exactly.
I am Kevin McCallister, and it's just like. And he's just like, yeah, you're not going to fuck with me. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want.
That's exactly right. I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And like, listen, I'm not trying to talk bad about Macaulay Culkin. I'm just making some bullshit up because it's funny. But like, it's literally just like, you see this kid like essentially having to do a Castaway where he's spending most of his time alone in that house. And all the comedy is just coming from him just like monologuing. Or just like going around the house and doing shit he wouldn't normally get to do.
Seeing
like,
his reactions as like the guy's getting scared about the pizza and him just like doing stuff like that.
And also just him like figuring out, okay, how am I going to live adult life while I'm just like by my own? And like, yeah, like when he orders the pizza, he like has to put on the Angels with Filthy Souls tape to like make sure that the guy gives him the pizza and like all that shit. Like, I love that.
Side note, you know how much of an advocate I am of cheese pizza. It's my favorite. As a kid, this movie was like, the way that kid loves cheese pizza, that's me, man. That's my inner soul to this day about cheese pizza. I feel like that every time I get one.
Well, see, here's the thing for me. And I'm also a big cheese pizza advocate. I think cheese pizza gets a little trashed. But it's like also, if a pizza place is good enough, its cheese pizza should be enough. Like,
exactly. Facts, dude.
You don't need all the toppings. Listen, I came here for dough, cheese, sauce. If none of those are up to snuff, I shouldn't need to cover it up with anything. I don't need anything else. I just need the flavor of your pizza. Facts. If I have to add shit, you're fucking up. You need to change some shit.
Yeah, now if I want to, because I'm like, dude, this pizza's so good, let me try some broccoli or some chicken on it.
For sure.
Then yeah, but exactly. Let's put it this way. When I went to New York, the first pizza I got,
you do the cheese.
It wasn't a supreme piece of pizza. It was a cheap pizza. And I was like, if this hits, I'll go to the buffalo chicken. I'll explore the sausage. We'll go from there.
Yeah, like, listen, anyone who knows me knows I love a good pepperoni and sausage pizza. Like, that's my shit. But like,
lovers action.
Of course. But like, it's that thing where like, listen, if I need to know that your pizza's up to snuff. If I'm going to spend money on your pizza, I need to know that it's up to snuff. And if you're just regular cheese is not going to cut it, the rest of your pizza isn't going to cut it.
Yeah, there's no way. If it's like anything. If it's built on a bad foundation, there's no way you can like build a top and make it worthy. It's like the foundation's trash.
Absolutely. It's just like, you nailed it. It's just like, if you can't, you have to be able to build off that foundation. If you're not building off that foundation, you're not doing shit. It's like, it's why, just like, and we talked about Home Alone 2 a little bit, but like when they open that box and there's fucking steam coming out of it, fucking cheese is perfect.
I need that.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God. It's perfect. Like, and there's just something about like, and I'm Italian. I have an Italian grandmother, like all that stuff. Sauce is very important to me.
I'm a big sauce guy.
Sauce is the most important part of the pizza every time. Like,
especially the amount of sauce used.
for sure. And that's why you go with the cheese, because you need to know if the sauce is good. A cheese pizza is not about getting like, it's about tasting the sauce. Obviously, there's the cheese and everything like that, and everything, but like, you gotta know that the sauce is good.
Yeah, it's got to have some flavor. It's got to be okay. Big question: are you a light sauce or more of a heavy sauce?
Okay, so here's the thing. I prefer a lighter sauce, but I think both can work.
Okay.
I think if you put a little too much sauce, the foundation crumbles. Because like another thing for me, obviously, I'm from New Jersey. I have that like kind of Puritan kind of deal with pizza where it's like I see some shit they put on pizza and I'm like, the ghosts of all Italia should come and haunt you for the rest of your life for when you've done such a beautiful thing.
Right.
So like for me, I think a good pizza should be its own plate. So like if there's too much sauce and the crust can't hold it up, like I don't want no flop. You can have a little bit of flop, but like I should be able to hold it and like it's not going all over the place.
That's fair. That's fair.
Is my deal.
The tip should be able to flop a little bit, but the rest of it needs to be heavy.
Yeah, like I should not have to have a plate. I should just be able to hold it like right here and not need anything else.
Sauce shouldn't be dripping out the sides and stuff.
Yes.
I got you. That's fair. Because that's too much sauce. Then it's like, no, why? What are you doing here? I get upset.
Yeah. It's a perfect balance. You got to like you got to find the right balance. And that's like a whole other part of it. But it's like I said, I can go with the heavier, like more sauce if it's a good sauce. But like, like I said, when I'm thinking of like a New York style pizza, which is the kind of pizza I prefer, I like it a little lighter so that like there's a good balance between everything, personally. So that's my deal.
I'm just happy that I brought up the pizza and we just went on a 10-minute event about the pizza.
Of course. I mean, we didn't even get into Sicilian pizza. Like,
I'm going to Italy next year, so I'm going to go to the motherland, and I'll let you know how that's going to be.
Did you ever watch Everybody Loves Raymond at all?
I loved that show. It was hilarious.
So Everybody Loves Raymond. That's my father's favorite show. Every day that man comes home from work and he puts on 2 episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond with like clockwork.
It's a good one.
Fail.
It's a good one.
Absolutely. Like I know that show verbatim because my dad just watches it all the time.
Awesome.
But like there's an episode where they go to Italy and literally like Ray is sick the whole time and like a piece of like Italian pizza like cures him of all of his ails. Like
I believe that. I think I'm going to go there and it's going to be the Holy Grail.
I bet. It's a little different from like this Americanized version because obviously there's like that whole what like Italian Americans did to pizza is obviously a lot different from what they do now in Italy and everything like that. But like I'm sure they got some good fucking pizza. Like there's no question. I
was braced that it's going to be a different flavor, but again, I'm all about the traditional. So if it tastes, I'm going in as optimistic as can be. I promise you that.
See, I'm a little more jealous of that pasta you're going to be getting to eat. Like my God,
dude, it's going to be carb overload because it's going to be garlic bread, it's going to be pasta, it's going to be pizza. I'm probably going to drink some wine. Like I'm going to.
Oh, you have to. You have to.
I'm going to have my stomach hurt because I ate so much. I'm like, God.
You have to. Listen, it's Italy.
Exactly.
For my money, Italian food is the best food. So like
probably that, or I mean, if there's some good Mexican food, sometimes
of course,
it's really great.
That's number 2. But like, here's the thing.
Probably 1. Cheese pizza is my favorite. Like I could eat if I had to pick one food. If they're like, you got to eat one thing for the rest of your life, I for sure, no doubt about it, would pick cheese pizza.
Yeah.
So I have to agree.
I mean, listen, Dave Portnoy has made like a long-running popular show off of just that one like idea alone. Like I'm going to eat a slice of cheese pizza every single day and review it. Like it's just, it is just like a good slice of cheese pizza. There's nothing better, honestly. Like
nothing.
Especially, dude, like when you're in New York and you just like walk down the corner, there's like 5 pizza shops and you can just like go get a slice.
Dude, there was one when I was in New York at film school. There was one right on my way from like school. So every day I would get off, I'd go get a kiwi strawberry Snapple, a piece of cheese, and a piece of buffalo chicken. I was in heaven for the whole time. I got it every single day, like for 3 months straight.
Yeah.
And then I went home. It was the best time of my life.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, listen, I've only been to New York as much as I'm like from up north and from New Jersey and everything. Like I've had very little time to spend in New York, but literally it's that thing where you can walk into most places and just be like, this is the best pizza I've ever had.
No, like, literally, I just picked the first place and it was so good. I was like, there's no need to try anything else. Yeah. I should have tried more. I fucked up, but.
Yeah, but like it's that thing where it's just like that's the beauty of living in a place like that where it's literally just like I have everything in like 2-3 square blocks. Like everything is here. Like there's a movie theater here. There's a pizza place here. We've got like a deli down the street. We've got a bodega down there. Like everything is in that like little space for you.
For sure.
Like that's what's so great about it. Like fuck, like that's one of the few things. Like the dream is to move to New York for me personally. Like okay. I fucking love it there.
Okay.
I love LA too, but like that the one day dream is just like I've made it enough to where I can like live in New York because like return to the motherland, all that good shit. Like that's the place.
It's a whole bad. I'm sorry. It's the return to glory. Return to glory.
Exactly. And like it's just that subway, you can't beat it. Like the best public transportation in the world. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Like insane. Like I wish we had like any kind of inkling of that kind of public transportation. Like it's so great. So
that's our review on pizza, and that's a few good movies.
Listen, cheese pizza is so important to the character of Kevin McCallister. We had to indulge a little bit.
Honestly, it's perfect because, like I said, it's my inner child. Cheese pizza is
I agree.
My existence.
Listen, I wish I had a cheese pizza when I was watching this movie last night.
I ordered a cheese pizza while the movie was on. I did.
Yeah, you see it, you got to do it. Like
Slice of LA, shouts out Slice of LA. I ordered a pizza.
So you still got to try that prime pizza.
Well, like again, I'm going to, but I got denied first time. I was literally there and they denied me.
Yeah. And I'm sure, like, dude, I remember, like, Tuesday, they were like, we can't take any more orders because, of, like, so many people were ordering it on Election Day and everything. Like,
yeah. It's all right. We'll bounce back.
I'll tell you what, man. Just any other Angelinos living out here. Prime Pizza in Burbank, not a bad option. Pretty solid. They get a little basil on top of the cheese and everything like that. It's
shouts out.
Model. Like, oh, my gosh. But back to Home Alone. So we've gone over the cheese pizza and everything like that. What I do want to talk about a little bit, this will like kind of lead us into the movie a little bit, but like that opening title sequence is pretty fantastic. You have that just like iconic like shot of the house like slowly coming out and everything. You have that great time, like the like title logo itself with like the house in the middle, the little E. Like I just like that's great. Like it's great. And you have one of my favorite scores written by John Williams underneath the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I love the score so much. That's another thing too. Like that's one of the main things I listen to around Christmas time. Like it's a piece of music, like especially like at one towards the end where it's like the da 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 da, da. Like that's just like that's the sound of Christmas to me. Yeah, exactly. It's so good.
That's awesome.
Like got nominated for an Oscar for this movie and everything like that. Like so damn good. And even the like da, 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 like the little like mischievous like Christmas music under it too, like so good.
It's fun. It almost I could be completely wrong, but it was almost this might actually be the same person who scored it. Don't even quote me. You would know way better than me. I know you would. But it almost reminded me of like the Nightmare Before Christmas kind of with like the scoring a little bit.
I think Danny Elfman did Nightmare Before Christmas because that's one of Burton's guys.
Right.
And I think Danny Elfman is actually like the singing voice for Jack Skellington. And then obviously John Williams did this one. So like
yeah, Danny Elfman. See, I told you you'd fucking know it, dude.
Dude. Killing it.
Shouts out.
That's right. Dude. One day when movie trivia comes back, man, I'm gonna fucking own this town.
Hey, man, I'm learning every time we do this. I learn. I wait for you to tell me something I don't know. So I'm like, all right, dude. Now I can tell somebody and they'll think I know shit. I'm like, yeah, dude, I know this shit.
For sure. Man. And then we are introduced to the whole McCallister clan. Like, the way they kind of do this is perfect. Like, I feel like there's so many small characters you only get, like, maybe 3 to 5 minutes of, but, like, are ingrained in your head forever.
Yeah,
like,
it's such a great way to open it with not only Joe Pesci dressed as a cop, like, being in the house, but it's such a fun way to get all the characters because you're in this, like, chaotic, everyone's trying to pack, get ready. There's 20 people in one house. So it's a great chance to really get a minute or two with each person and really you get to know them, and it works perfect because you got Kevin to use this problem of he doesn't know how to pack. So he gets all these different answers, and they're so funny. They're all so ridiculous. You're like, well, none of this is even remotely close to what you would pack.
One of them literally calls him a fucking dumbass, just like straight to his face. Like the whole the French would call you les incompetents. It's like, geez, this kid is just taking it from all corners.
Yeah,
like like here's the thing. There's a little bit of ridiculous going. Like I've watched this movie 100 times. I could not tell you what is going on with the whole trip. Like, why do they have a brother in France? And why are their kids staying at the McCallister house? Why is Uncle Frank here? Why are all of his kids here? This guy is living in France. He has all this money to send, like, 20 people to France? Like, what are these guys – like, what's going on here? Like, it's a little crazy. And then, like, his family is so mean to him. Like, obviously, this movie is, like – from the POV of Kevin McCallister, so I feel like there's obviously a little exaggeration there, and obviously for the movie to work, there kind of has to be.
Of course.
But, like, everyone's just like, Kevin, you idiot.
Yeah,
Kevin, you jerk.
Yeah, look what you did, you little jerk. And they all just stare at him.
Yeah, everyone is just like, we all agree with this. Like, even, like, when his mother's, like, leading him up to the bedroom, she's also just like, I fucking hate this bullshit. Why are you doing this? Yeah, like, why don't you go ahead and wish, and maybe you'll get, like, what you want? And it's just like, damn. Like, this kid is just, like, taking it. And, like, obviously, Kevin is, like, a little much. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, the whole point of the movie is he has to, like, learn his lesson and everything like that and all that good stuff. But it's like, they do really lay it on pretty thick. Like,
at the beginning, he's a little a-hole when he's stomping up and down. I'm living alone. If that was my kid, I'd be like, you better shape up, boy. I don't know what you thought this was. But
sir, there are people here. You don't get to do this today. We're all stressed out. That's the other thing. I'm sure packing for Paris is a very stressful event.
Yeah, for 20 people, dude, I'd be nervous as shit. I get nervous when I got to pack for myself for the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and just, like, you get these glimpses of, like, Buzz, obviously, like, a great Big Brother performance.
Yeah, Buzz,
like, dude, I hadn't noticed this before. He has one of the best lines in the movie. It's like some Biff Tannen level of just, like, kind of, like, dumb joke. Like, it's just, like, where I think one of the other cousins or his sister or something, like, asked him, like, you're not at all worried about Kevin. All right, 3 things. A, I'm not that lucky. 3, we have smoke alarms. And D, we live on the most boring street in the, like, United States of America. Where it's just like,
it's A, 2, and D.
A, 2, and D.
Yeah, those are his things that he goes to, and you're just like, what?
Yeah, it's like it's great. Like, that's
great. He says, I'm not that lucky.
I'm not that lucky. It's
like,
perfect.
Damn, dude.
Like, that's that perfect kind of, like, Big Brother just, like, fucking hate this guy kind of humor, though. Like, that's perfect.
It's awesome.
Especially, like, John Hughes kind of humor. Like, that's so good. You have Uncle Frank, the cheapest uncle in the history of the world.
He's so funny when he's like...
I fucking love Uncle Frank. He's such a scumbag. Like,
yeah, he's trying to steal bottle caps from the plane or whatever.
Yeah, the fucking salt and pepper shakers. He's like, these are real crystal. Why don't you have them in your purse? Like, the pizza guy asks him for money. He's living in, like,
oh, my brother will pick that up.
My brother will get that for you. Don't you worry about that. He's got cash. And he's just
or like, even when the wife asked him, she's like, Frank, we've got money. He said, traveler's checks.
And he's the guy who literally tells another person's kid right in front of him, look what you did, you little jerk. And just like, you're going to call him a jerk. And then his parents to be like, yeah, we're not going to do anything about that. We agree. Like, they fully support it.
They were like, yeah, Brody's missing it. You know, he's destroying everything.
Yeah, he's great. Like, I love Uncle Frank. Like, great, just like worst uncle possible character for a movie.
I like when he's like, fill it up.
Fill up, please. We'd like 2 glasses of champagne. It's free, right? Like, it's just like,
exactly. It's free, right? Oh yeah. Fill that.
There's never a second he's not just like, I'm gonna be a jerk. Like, I'm gonna be like, I feel like what he's doing there is like, obviously Chicago and Illinois itself is like, designated. There's like all these designated like class systems and everything like that. Like, I feel like obviously he's like commenting a little bit like, okay, obviously like these McCallisters, they live in this like super awesome like mansion in like the suburbs, and then like you try to think like, where does Uncle Frank live? Like, does he live like right outside Chicago? Is his whole family in just like one apartment? Like, what is this guy's life like? Like, I want to see that.
I want to know what he does for a living. What's his job?
Absolutely. Like, I just want to know like, what is going on here?
Frank should have got a spinoff.
Why and how is Uncle Frank? Like, what's going on with him?
Yeah, he's an interesting character for sure.
You also got, I love Fuller. Fuller's great. Bringing in Lil Kieran Culkin, Macaulay's little brother, to do just like
his little brother.
Yeah, it's actually his little brother.
Nice. That to see something I didn't know.
For sure. Now he's like, I don't think he won, but like now he's like nominated for a Golden Globe, or not a Globe, but like he got nominated for some Emmys with Succession and everything like that. Like, love me some Kieran Culkin.
Hell
like,
yeah.
He's great. And just that's also a fact. Like, I don't think he might have one line in this movie. I know he speaks in the second one, but like, you never forget that face of just like him with those huge glasses, sipping that Pepsi, and then just like looking over at Kevin, just like, I'm gonna fucking wreck your night, bro. Like,
yeah, I was about to mention it before you said it. No, so yeah, you're like you just said, it is literally like no one forgets that image. It's you just see it and you're like, oh, no.
Etched into your memory.
Fuller's gonna wet the bed.
Like, and then you also got to this other stuff. You got the introduction of, let me make sure, of Old Man Marley, where he's like telling the story of just like to just scare the shit out of Kevin, or just like he killed his whole family and buried him in these salt fucking buckets or whatever. It's just like,
just drag him around.
If everyone knows, why didn't you do anything? Not enough evidence to convict.
Yeah, you know, the older I get, the more I watch that scene, and I'm like, Buzz is bullshitting the fuck.
Absolutely is.
How are they buying into this?
He's trying to impress his cousin and like scare the shit out of his little brother. Like, that's exactly what he's doing. Like, that's why I love Buzz. Like, he's a character you like keep coming back to. Like, there's a lot of dimension to this guy for some reason on rewatch. Like, I don't know what it is, but like, there's just like I said before, like they just kind of nail that kind of character and like what he set up to do. The casting is so good on him. The name of the actor is Devin Ratray. Like, so good at what he's like tasked to do on this.
He looks like Buzz. Like, it fits
exactly.
so perfect.
When I hear that name, all I think of is that fucking orange flat top, those buck teeth, and just that face. And like, I still remember like, the first time I like, and also it's like one of those like 80s, 90s movies where like it's a kid's movie, but there's like a lot of cursing. So all the kids are like, oh my God, they just said that. That's so fun. Where it's just like, I wouldn't let you sleep in my room if you were growing on my ass. And I was just,
you're just like, again, sets the tone. You're like, Jesus, all right, Buzz. I like how he sneaks in, right? The first time you see him talk to Buzz, he kind of like creeps in, just like it sets the perfect tone. It makes it so funny.
And obviously he's fucking with him with the pizza. Like, you see him like shoveling pizza into his mouth. Literally, once again, he ate all that cheese pizza. And listen, I get it. I eat all the cheese pizza too. But like, literally just to be like, I'm going to fuck with Kevin a little bit more here. Like,
I got to call something out, though. This has bothered me since I was a kid.
Okay. One cheese pizza?
Check it out. So, when the dad walks down, Kevin, about his wife's going to pay, Buzz walks up behind him, puts his hand on his shoulder and says, come on, Dad, let's go eat some pizza. maybe 10 seconds at most later, Kevin runs down saying, "Pizza, pizza, pizza," and runs in. Then we cut to the kitchen, and Buzz has somehow eaten the whole cheese pizza already. I'm like, it's not possible.
Here's the thing. So with the family, I forget exactly how big the like specifically Kevin McCallister's family is. I know not the whole family is there at the end. Mm-hmm. So I think the full family is like maybe 5-6 people. I think there's the mom, the dad, there's Buzz. I think there's one sister. I think there's one more brother.
I don't even know if there's a sister. I think it's just Buzz and.
There is a sister. I feel like that's who he's talking to in the hotel room when she's like, "You're not worried about him at all," because I feel like that's his sister.
The oldest one. Okay, you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah, and then I feel like there's one more brother that they have.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
so it's about like 5-6 people. So obviously 5-6 people in a family. It looks like both of these parents have careers. I don't want to assume, but like I would imagine they live kind of near the Chicago area. They have this big house. I would imagine they're both families with careers. I imagine there's a lot of family pizza nights. Now, where I'm going with this is I feel like Buzz is training like every week. Like, how fast can I eat as much cheese pizza as I can before Kevin gets down here?
No way, dude.
Like, he's just waiting, just like, it's Friday. It's my favorite day because I get to fuck with Kevin and deny him his beloved cheese pizza.
One can only hope that's what was happening.
No. I'm just fucking with you a little bit. Like, that's fun to think about. Just like Buzz is just like, I haven't eaten all day long. I've been waiting for this pizza to arrive all day so I can just shovel it all in my mouth. Mm-hmm. And obviously, Buzz has had a lot of time to do this. Buzz looks like he's like high school age. So like he's been doing this a long time. Mm-hmm. He's had 8 years to like train as Kevin has been around. Like, the man has it down to a science. Like, I think, not to bring up one of the worst movies to win Best Picture in the last decade, but like, did you see Green Book when it came out?
I've seen bits and pieces of it. It didn't hold that much, though.
No, that's fair. It's a bad movie. But like, there's a scene in it where Viggo Mortensen gets a pizza, like a whole cheese pizza to himself. The man folds it and eats it like a taco. Like, I imagine that's what Buzz is doing, like right before Kevin comes down the house. He's just like, fold it, shove it, and like, we're good.
Yeah, we're gonna let's just see how quickly we can.
It's gonna be all gone. Now, the real answer is there's 20 people in the house. Everybody likes cheese pizza. The cheese pizza is the first one to go, and it's really the parents' fault for not ordering like at least 4 cheese pizzas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you know your kid likes cheese, like there's gonna be a couple separate to make.
Well, it's also like there's a bunch of kids in the house. Kids, they're picky. There are a lot of kids who are younger than Kevin in that house who are not eating anything other than cheese. Yes. They ordered 12 pizzas. Half of those have to be cheese.
Yeah.
There's no question. 6 of those pizzas have to be cheese. Yes. So the parents fucked up in the situation. I'm not going to lie. Like, you get whatever party you're having or whatever get-together you're having, you have to have at least half cheese pizza.
That's fair.
Like,
I've got 4 nieces and nephews. I've had enough kid birthday parties to know that the first thing to go is the cheese pizza.
The cheese pizza.
And I got to fight the kids for it because I want it. I'm like, you little bastards, let me get some cheese pizza. I got to let them go first.
Yeah. And it's also like, even the people who like toppings are just like, okay, so I'm going to get 2 slices of like pepperoni and sausage or like whatever's around. I'm going to get 1 slice of cheese.
Just to balance it out.
That's always the move.
Come on.
You like always get like 1 slice of cheese.
It's a balance. It's a sense of balance.
You can't, like, they fucked up. Plain and simple, they fucked up. And like, I feel like that's worse than leaving their kid at home alone, honestly. Like, you guys have been parents for how long? You don't know the rules?
Yeah, this movie shouldn't be called Home Alone. It should be called Not Enough Pizza.
Not enough cheese pizza.
Yeah, let's be honest.
I understand Kevin's pain. If I lived in a family of 6 and there was never enough cheese pizza for me, I would go berserk. Like, I would not be a happy child. Oh, boy.
This is awesome.
Great, right? So we go from that. Kevin like ruins the not ruins, but like some shit happens. Kevin's blamed for it, and he gets sent up to the attic. He like wishes that his parents and like his whole family disappear. He gets left up in the attic. The power goes out. The phone lines are down off of a tree that goes down and hits the power and phone lines. And you get the iconic "We slept in" from the two parents, and then you have the whole fucking yeah. Another piece of music just etched into your memory for like all time.
Yeah.
And then you get to the airport and everything. They leave. They make it right in time, and then Kevin is left home alone. And then from there, we watch one of the like most perfect Christmas movies ever made. Like we already went into a little bit, but like just like we were talking about a little bit of it with Home Alone 2, but just like a kid's like pure fantasy.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, the
unsupervised
thing he makes while watching The Grinch, I would do that right now with the marshmallows and the syrup and the whipped cream. If somebody put that in front of me right now, I'd be like, now we're talking.
Absolutely. He's ordering pizza. He's watching R-rated movies. He's fucking shooting BB guns inside the house.
Yeah, he's going into the dream.
He's going into his big brother's room, playing with everything, fucking it all up. Like, heaven to an 8-year-old.
Jumping on the bed, eating food with the shoes on.
Yeah, like having the greatest time of his life. Sledding down the stairs.
Yes, sir.
What kid doesn't want to sled down the stairs?
Honestly.
Like, I've never met a kid that isn't like in the back of their head, like, this is exactly what I want out of my life, is I want to sled down the stairs. This
is what I thought it would be like being an adult at 10 years old. This is what I thought I was going to be able. This is the freedom I was growing up to get, to be able to sled down my own stairs.
Fucking cheese pizza and macaroni and cheese for dinner every night.
Yeah, dude, the microwave macaroni for dinner.
Dude, the best looking macaroni and cheese I've ever seen in my life.
Right? I swear. I just said, like, why does that look perfect?
It looks incredible. Like, dude, he's got the whole setup and everything. He's got 4, like, eating utensils right there. He's only going to use one, but he's got the whole setup. He's got the 2 candles.
Super, like, filling. Like, it looks like it'll be a hearty meal.
Dude, the steam rising off of the mac and cheese. Fucking perfect. Like, it's all plated up. Like, dude.
It looks crazy.
So good, that mac and cheese.
No, it's an underrated part of this movie. No one's talking about how good that mac
Absolutely, but like when I watched it, I was like, Jesus.
It's good. It's incredible.
Where do I get mac and cheese that looks like that?
I like hold myself to a standard to try to make mac and cheese that looks like that. I haven't done it yet, but that's a goal in me for my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like just like John Hughes and Chris Columbus like came together to make the most perfect mac and cheese ever made. And like, you know what the worst part about it is? He doesn't take a bite. Does not take a single bite.
Heartbreaking, because I wanted to see him. I wanted to enjoy that with him.
Yeah, like, listen, I understand. Pesci and Stern, they're outside the house. They're about to come and fuck shit up, but like, you gotta take a bite of that mac and cheese.
It's the last meal. Like, you gotta do it.
And also, you're telling me Harry and Marv, they go into that house. They like just having to go by the surrounding room and they're like, what's that in there? What's that just like plate of gold over there that I see? Wait, is that macaroni and cheese?
Somebody should have taken a damn bite.
Someone should have taken a bite of that mac and cheese. I feel very upset that no one took a bite of that mac and cheese.
Yeah.
It was steaming and hot.
Like, mac and cheese not getting eaten is like the Jeepers Creepers wing. Like, if you're gonna put it out there, use it.
Use it. Like, they don't even use it at the end. Like, there's not a, like, victory, like, listen, it might be a little much, but you're telling me that Kevin McCallister, when he's, like, looking out at the window seeing Harry and Marv get arrested, he doesn't, like, let me grab the mac and cheese. I'm going to, like, look out the window and, like, take a bite, just have, like, my shit-eating grin on my face and just, like, suckers, I got you.
Dude, that would probably have been the most satisfying thing of mac and cheese he would have eaten ever after that. Seeing them get arrested, and like, I earned this, baby. Okay.
Because that's another thing, too. When you're a little kid, the best thing in the world is Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Still is. Hell, I got some in the cupboard.
Of course. You always got to have some. It's essential. Essential item.
Simple. I need that and water, and I'm usually okay.
Absolutely. Like, especially after Brad Pitt made it look like the easiest thing. You don't even need the milk and the butter. Just a little bit of water. You're good. You're fine. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, if we're talking about another macaroni, he makes that look. We're talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Looks incredible. It looks I'm like, dude, I want some of that.
Dude, I'm telling you, when I first moved here, which was around the time that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out, I'd already seen it 3 times before I moved here. But I got here, I went to like the ArcLight Hollywood, see it in the Cinerama Dome one day. And literally the night I like planned it out. I had like a box of Kraft and I had some beer in the fridge. I was like, I'm going to eat the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood mac and cheese tonight because I feel like that's what I need to do.
Eat it out of the pan and everything.
Absolutely. Can't do it any other way. Like, perfect. But like, so good. Like, the mac and cheese was wasted. That's like the one knock against this movie. It takes it down like half a star. That's the one thing. Good food movie, like underrated.
Yeah, I can't believe this is awesome. This is a Food Network podcast.
Yeah, honestly, it's just like, listen, because here's the thing. Once again, we're talking about how like this is a kid's fantasy. The food has to be like 11 out of 10.
Yeah.
Just pure junk. Like you said, like, dude, this man is eating ice cream by the scoop. Like he's got like 20 scoops in a bowl. He's just like, well, I got my spoon. I'm going to take up one scoop of ice cream right here. Just like whole thing in my mouth.
Whole thing. Yeah. Shit's dropping off. It's out of control.
Yeah,
and,
it is.
Dude, speaking of food, how incredible does that donut look that the cop is eating? Dude. And you're like, it dropped on the phone. I'm like, I want that donut.
Dude, some literally lands on like the fucking phone.
Yeah, it falls
like
off and leaves it. It's awesome. And the donut looks so good.
Yeah. Dude. Maybe we need to talk about this a little bit. Chris Columbus. Now, how into Harry Potter are you at all?
So I like it. I'm going to be honest, though, because they're really long, I haven't seen anything past the fourth one.
Fair. And also J.K. Rowling kind of sucks now, which is a bummer. But but you've seen the first one, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So like Chris Columbus directs Home Alone 2, then does the first two Harry Potter movies.
Okay.
Like, you remember, like, there's the opening banquet in Harry Potter where it's just like a table, like, lined with food of the best looking food you've ever seen.
When everyone's getting picked to be in the dorms or whatever.
Yeah.
Classic.
And there's the whole feast. Is Chris Columbus like one of the best like food directors? Like, does he need to make a movie where he's just like, I'm gonna play around with food for a while? Because like his food looks immaculate.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he should have got involved with the people who did Ratatouille, because I know that's a animation movie, but I know you've seen that shit looks so good, Ratatouille.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Brad Bird knows what he's doing. There's no question. Brad Bird knows what he's doing. But yeah, so I mean, we've talked a little bit about this stuff, but like, so the movie's basically like most other movies. Like, he got these thirds. You've got the first third, which is them, like the whole family's at the house and Kevin and everything like that. The second part is like just like Kevin learning how to live by himself, and then the third act is the burglars. Like, I like how this movie has those three, so we can like talk. We've already talked about the opening, everything like that. We've got that squared away. But like now we can talk about just like all the shit Kevin does to survive in this movie. Like, his interactions with adults are priceless. Mm-hmm. Like, I love when he goes to the grocery store and this lady is just like eyeing him the whole time, like, where are your parents? Where's your mother? Or like, don't you have any parents? She's like, excuse me, I'm 8 years old. You think my parents would really let me do this alone? I don't think so. Like, his whole just like, it's the confidence too, man, that Kevin McCallister has.
Absolutely. He's reading the fucking paper. He looks like it looks awesome.
Is that microwavable mac and cheese any good?
Yeah, he was like, I'll give it a whirl.
It's so fucking good.
Another flaw, another thing that bothers me, another thing. So he says, when she holds up the army kids, he says, for the kids. And then later on, she says something about like, any brothers and sisters? She says, I'm an only child.
Yeah. But like, he's being a smartass. Like, he's being Bugs Bunny in that moment.
It's hilarious, but I just noticed that like, if this wasn't a movie, she could have been like, that doesn't make sense. But
once again, this is Bizarro Land where this movie takes place.
For sure.
Like, it's like Illinois, Chicago area, but like, this movie doesn't happen in real life. Like, it's like literally like, and it's much more in the second one, but like, Kevin McCallister by the end of this movie is acting like Bugs fucking Bunny. Like, that's like essentially what he's doing. Yeah, like, when we get into like the actual like when the burglars come in to take the place, but like, he's just like, that's literally what he's doing. He's just like, I'm gonna take everything I've learned from cartoons and apply them to the real world and just like be like a little stinker.
Especially when he cuts that rope, like he's like, gotcha. Like, it's like, oh, you set up the two experienced burglars,
just like
they were children.
It's just like, you little rascal. Oh, you got him again. Like, there's so much of that stuff too. Like, you also got the shit where like he's going into the drugstore. It's like, is this FDA approved? Like,
Yeah, it's approved by the National Dentist Association. And they're like, I don't. Herb is his name. He's like, I don't
yeah,
know.
it's just like,
Like,
I don't. No one has ever asked me that question before.
What I want to know is like, because I'm assuming that's something he has seen one of his parents do because that's why he knows how to shop due to their mannerisms.
Yeah.
Which one of his parents went up with a toothbrush one time and was like, "Is this approved by the National Dentist?" Like, who had that conversation with him? I would say it was probably the dad.
See, that's interesting. Yeah, I was gonna say because the dad is pretty like easygoing, just
yeah,
like
he
kind of
doesn't
like
care at all. He was like, "Oh, the garage." He's like, "Oh, that is."
well, not even that he doesn't care. He's just like, okay, I've internalized this. I'm gonna like go forward very calmly because his wife is nuts. Like she goes from drop of a hat, she's screaming, she's hyperventilating, like she can't handle it. And I'm sure that like over the time they've been married and had their relationship and had their kids, like he's learned he has to be the one that's like calm and soothing and just like, we're gonna get through this.
Thanks.
We have a plan. Don't worry. There's a plane on Friday. That's when we're gonna go. Like, just don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. Like he's the guy who's just like, let's just get it done. And she's the one who's just like gonna be persnickety about it. It's just like the dental association, they approve this one? Like, I'm sure that's what it is.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Which I guess we haven't talked about her a whole lot, but like Catherine O'Hara in this movie, like another like great performance. Like, Loki, it's not the center. Obviously, it's not the funniest one. And like Culkin, Stern, and Pesci are the ones taking center stage. Mm-hmm. But like she really brings it in this movie. And I don't think gets enough credit for like, obviously she has those great comedic moments and she like really stresses like how scared and worried she is. And the Kevin scream is one of the most iconic moments in like film history. Like everyone knows it. The Kevin, like everyone knows.
Yeah, of course.
But like she also like brings a lot of heart to this movie too, like towards the end. And like when she's pleading with those two older people, like, please, everything I have, I need to get home to my son. He's so scared. And like she really brings a lot to this movie.
She does. There are like when they leave her at the airport, I was tearing up. When the bells will be ringing, I was like, damn, here we go. I'm heartbroken.
And like the scene she has with John Candy, which hilarious. John Candy, shout out, one of the best ever.
What a great little small performance for John Candy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, John Hughes and like John Candy, obviously they've had their relationship, planes, trains, and automobiles, everything like that, and Uncle Buck. But like, man, just whenever you put him in a movie, I'm fucking happy. Like, he was my favorite person in the world when I was like 9 years old. Was John Candy.
Have you seen The Great Outdoors with John? Yes. With him and Dan Aykroyd?
Yes, so many times.
Oh, one of the funniest. You want to talk about an underrated funny movie? I think that goes into that category.
Yes.
That movie, dude.
One of my favorites as a kid. Like, I would watch it all the time because I watched every John Candy movie as much as I could. Mm-hmm. Annette Bening's first performance, that's always a fun fact to throw out. It's future Academy Award winner Annette Bening's like first performance and everything like that. Like, Great Outdoors. He plays Aykroyd's wife.
Okay. That's crazy. I didn't even know that at all. That movie is that's an iconic one. I always remember the shotgun lamp blowing the bear's butt off.
I always remember the steak. John Candy tries to eat the huge steak. And fucking Dan Aykroyd, like, there's a running joke throughout the movie where it's like, you know what hot dogs are made out of, right? Lips and assholes. And, like, everyone says it. They have these fucking raccoons that get into the trash. They say it, like, too. They have, like, subtitles and everything.
Yeah, exactly. They're talking. It's awesome.
It's crazy how much I remember about The Great Outdoors.
I know so much of it.
There's, like, a cheap joke where, like, Dan Aykroyd is supposed to be the rich family member and John Candy is, like, the normal guy. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene where, like, the lights go out. Dan Aykroyd's like, oh, my lighter isn't working. And I spent $100 on this. John Candy's like, $5 at a gas station.
It's huge. Yeah.
It's so good. But, like, there's a really – I had not noticed this moment before. And I think one of the magic things about this movie is, like, when you're a kid, some of this humor is going to go over your head no matter what. It's kind of designed that way. Like, the more you watch it as an adult, like, there's just, like, more shit you find funny about it. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a whole story that John Candy goes on about is like when Catherine O'Hara is like, I feel so bad. And like, look at all these guys around here. They barely get to see their kids. And she's like, did they ever leave them home alone when you went on a family trip? No. I did leave one at a morgue once. Like, and he goes into this whole story about like, but he was okay. After about 6-7 weeks, he started talking again. He was fine. You know, kids are resilient. Like, that just bounces off of them. And she's just like, well, maybe we shouldn't talk about this anymore. And he's just like, he takes it all personal. I was like, well, you asked. I was just trying to make you feel better. Like, it's just, he's magical. I love John.
Or how he tries to sell himself, like when he introduces, like how he's like, we were big in Sheboygan. Real big in Sheboygan.
He has like
you're big in Sheboygan.
He has like 10 songs that no one has ever heard of.
Yeah, he's like,
that was big for us.
He's like, polka, 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 polka. He was
the polka twist.
Like, yeah, he's like, come on, classics.
Yeah, have you ever watched I Think You Should Leave, the sketch show on Netflix at all?
No, I haven't seen it.
Really great. One of the better sketch shows I've ever watched. Super funny.
Okay.
Highly recommend it to anyone looking for a good, like, super easy to watch too. Like 6 episodes, like less than 30 minutes each. Super funny. But there's a sketch in there where like they do the I'm dumb because I forget what the name of the game is, but it, like, you know, there's that game where like everyone like they put it in a bowl and they have to like guess who the celebrities are after like the hints that someone's giving them. Or, like,
you cut out for a second. Say that again. You said something in a bowl and.
Yeah. So you know how there's that game where like people like write down names of celebrities on like little pieces of paper. They'll put them in a bowl, and then someone has to like pick out a name, and like people have to guess who the celebrity is off of the like clues they're giving them and everything like that.
Isn't that called like charades?
Not charades, but like you have to like you're speaking clues and everything, like not doing like the like motions and everything like that.
Okay, I see.
But like there's a sketch in there where it's like there's a bunch of friends and there's like one person who brings like their new boyfriend. And he like writes a bunch of obscure jazz guys as like the celebrities, and like this scene reminds me of that a lot. Where he's just like, "Oh, you don't know Roy Donk? He wrote like the Flintstones theme song," and he's just like, "Roy Donk? What are you talking about?" And he's like going through all these clues. Like he was a frequent guest on the Colgate Comedy Hour. He played with Thaddeus Finks. He played the saxophone with a kink in it, and he's just like. I have no idea who you're talking about. He's like, Paul Bufano. What are you talking about? Paul Bufano. Like, it's just like.
That's awesome.
These super obscure, just like shit like that. I don't know. It reminded me of that. It's super funny. But like, we also got to talk about a little, Macaulay Culkin's like, this is where he's really like flexing his muscles, where he's just like alone in the house.
Yeah.
Acting with himself. The man's reaction work is incredible.
I pray to get to that level one day. I'm practicing while we're doing the Zoom.
Dude, obviously the is like iconic and that's never going to go away. Everyone knows that image. It's ingrained in the fucking lexicon forever. But dude, one of the like smaller moments that makes me fucking laugh out loud every time I see it is when Kevin's walking down the street and the Wet Bandits are coming out of the driveway and they're about to hit him and his whole mouth fucking opens. It's the widest anyone has ever opened their mouth. And the scream he lets out is fucking hysterical. Like,
it really is.
Like, just the way the man has control over his face at such a young age. Like, good for him. But, like, also the man can monologue with the best of them. Like, the way he talks, like, we've talked about this before, how, like, you can have, for dialogue to be good, it doesn't just have to be, it can be something other than natural. It can be heightened kind of dialogue. And the way this kid talks is fucking hysterical. Like,
he said, buzz your girlfriend.
Well, it's just like, that's obviously a go, but like, it's also when he's just like talking to himself in the mirror in the bathroom, he's just like, and I tried this facial cream on my face, which I quite enjoyed. And it's just like,
I scrubbed every part of my body, including in between the crevices.
Yeah, it's just like, it's great. It's so good. And then like the tricks he plays on people, obviously like the shit with the pizza guy, how he tricks the Wet Bandits at first by like playing the Angels with Filthy Souls tape again, which one of the best movies inside of a movie ever made. Like, I love that fucking movie.
Yeah,
iconic.
At some point in my life, I thought that was a real movie, and I wanted to find it out. I was like, I gotta see this, dude. This is a classic scene.
Every kid did. Every kid who ever saw this movie is like, I can't wait to see that movie when I grow up.
I literally wanted to be 16 so I could find that R-rated movie and watch it.
Yeah. And
Sure.
then I love how the joke in the second one is just like angels with even filthier souls.
Yeah,
Like,
I have another version of it, exactly.
yeah. I mean, I don't think there's one like more iconic. Like there's a couple others like stuff like that, but like the use of this like 1 minute clip of a fake movie, like, and the legacy it has. Everyone knows the goddamn line. It's still maybe the most iconic line from this movie.
I mean, change a filthy animal is,
Yeah,
everyone knows that.
everyone knows that. Everyone knows exactly where it's from. Everyone knows like the exact picture of the guy.
See, I would say what's even crazier is I think there's a lot of people out there that know this quote that don't even know where it's from, but that's just how crazy, like I said, how iconic that is. I know people who would probably say keep a change and filthy animal and not necessarily be able to tell me where that's from.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's
Which
just
is
like,
crazy.
yeah, absolutely. You also got some other stuff like I love the relationship he has with the basement, like,
and the furnace.
The furnace is great. The shut up thing is like nice. It's like they do a lot of like I don't think this movie gets enough credit for it. Like it does a lot of really solid character work with Kevin. Like I think the way he like overcomes his fears throughout this like middle half and like how he like kind of grows as a character and everything like that. Like obviously when he like asks like if he could get his family back and he asks Santa to get his family back, which that's another great moving scene. Like, you know, it like I said before, like I think it's just like a really solid performance. Like I think he sells it.
Really sells it.
Honestly, like and like his other work, like Uncle Buck is another great one too. He's great in Uncle Buck. It's just I wish we got more out of Macaulay Culkin. I wish he was like obviously his brother's doing great now, but like man, I wish like we still had like movies with Macaulay Culkin to look forward to because he's so damn good in this movie. He really is.
Fortunately, his life took a turn that.
Yeah. Well, it's not that. It's just like, and we'll talk about the success this movie had later, but like, I'm sure that experience of making this movie, being one of the most recognizable children in all of America, and like having to go through the sequels and having to like meet all these celebrities and like being forced to that at such a young age has got to be hell. Like that has got to suck.
It's just like, you know, I think about how strong things impacted me when I was young. If I would have lived like that, of course, that you like, you know,
that is a lot to deal with.
Yeah,
like,
people want to say, "Oh, I would have grown up and been fine." You know, shit. I just now at 26 think, okay, I think I know myself well enough to where like I could get into this industry and not be changed to who I am.
Yeah.
There's at 6 or 10, 11, 12 years old. You talk about. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. So I do background sometimes on television, and I was on the show. What's it called? What's the Oh man. What is his name? He wears the tie. He's the real smart kid. He's
Young Sheldon.
Young Sheldon, perfect. I did Young Sheldon. And when he comes onto set and gets out there and in between takes talks to background stuff, oh my God, this kid shits gold. He says jokes and expects you to laugh at him because like the crew and stuff will they'll gas him up the whole time, which I'm sure they were doing the same with Culkin. And so it's like it's crazy that like that's what I'm saying. Like you could see how that could totally affect someone and change the projection of their life and have some even negative impacts. You could also go like Justin Bieber. He went down once he was 10, 11 and peaked. All of a sudden he had the success and then he had a lot of down years. He's just now bouncing back.
I mean, you see a lot too with all like the Disney Channel stars and all the Nickelodeon stars and like even kids now will like they become like TikTok and Vine stars when they're super young. Like it's especially like people who have not had to go through the fact that like life is a lot of ebbs and flows. It's a lot of ups and downs.
It's not just this.
Yeah. Especially with having a career in acting or in the film industry or any like entertainment industry, that shit'll fuck you up or like send you down immediately.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure to be like 8 years old, you have Home Alone, one of the most successful, like
you think it's never going to end.
Yeah. You're iconic. You're going to make the sequel. It's going to be even like,
by the time you're 30, you're going to have 400 movies and be the best actor in the world.
Yeah. And then to realize like, oh, this isn't what life is going to, like, I'm sure that's a hard thing to have to deal with at such a young age.
Think about how high your endorphins are at that point in your life, living like a king. And then it goes all the, like the downfall from that. Oh God.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be a lot. And I pray for Macaulay Culkin every day. Like I wish him the best. I hope he is happy and like living a good life. But like that's got to be like a tough thing to have to deal with. Like being literally the most famous kid in America at like a certain point. Yeah. So I think that covers pretty much that middle third. Is there anything else you want to like talk about in that middle third? I mean, we get the introduction of the Wet Bandits. We get a little bit of them. I love their like back and forth. They're great. Good stuff.
I do like the end of the middle, like, third, just that closure he has when he talks to the guy with the salt, old man. What's his name? Old man,
Marley.
Marley, I wanted to say Jenkins, but that's right. Old man Marley.
Of course.
Yeah, when Old man Jenkins, is that Scooby-Doo?
Yeah, Scooby-Doo.
I think that's Scooby-Doo. Okay, yeah. So Old man Marley, when he has that closure, that really wraps up that second act. Is when he, has that closure with like family's the most important. That's what you need to be around. Macaulay Culkin shows his maturity by saying, "Well, shouldn't you talk to your son?" and using like a kid's logic on. Yeah. I love how they do that too. How like adults overcomplicate shit, and the kid's logic is usually right. Just like. Yeah. Just fucking call him. Like, what are you talking like this? Everything you did just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. He does the whole thing where it's like, I didn't used to like to go down to the basement. It's smelly down there. It's scary. Yeah. It's dark. And there's a furnace down there that scares the shit out of me. And then I started having to go down there because I had to do laundry, and then I wasn't as scared anymore. It's like, what's your point? My point is call your son. Like, it's because that's kind of like when I talk about this like last 30, 40 minutes, like, that's what I'm talking about. From, like, when it turns nighttime and, like, he has that meeting with Santa on, like, this movie is 11 out of 10, like, firing on cylinders. Like, because, like, I love that moment with the, like, Santa, too. Like, I love how he approaches it, like.
Oh, the guy's smoking. Yeah, it's perfect. It's just the worst Santa ever.
Listen, I know you're not the real Santa. I'm old enough to know how this works. I know you work for the guy. Like,
yeah.
I love, like, literally, he's not prepared. He's smoking. It takes him, like, a while to get the, like, beard back on and everything. He gives him Tic Tacs at the end instead of, like, a candy cane or something.
Hey, hold your hand out. Don't want you to go home with nothing.
But, like, in the middle of that, there's just, like, this really sweet, like, confession from Kevin where he's just like, can you tell him, like, I don't even want any presents this year. I just want my whole family, like, mom, dad, my brother, my sisters, even Buzz, like, can you tell him that for me? And it's just like, it's super sweet. And like, you finally like, oh, Kevin has grown and he's learned his lesson and this is great. Like, this is awesome. Like, that's super touching. And then, yeah, you have that scene in the church, which always like gets me choked up. Like, it's once again, it's one of those things where once again, you got to talk about how good Macaulay Culkin is. This is an actor he's working with, Robert Blossom, who's been in the industry for a long time, worked with a lot of people. Like, he's been in the industry since like 60s, 70s, like working a long time. And Macaulay Culkin is going toe to toe, like not blinking once, like all in on selling the scene with him. Mm-hmm. And it completely works.
Yes.
Like, I love the whole, just like, you don't have to be scared of me all the time. Like, you can just say hello. Like, that's, and then he's just like, they just have like a very sweet moment together. Like, it's a really, like, it's a weird thing to think that this is like what locks me into that last third, but like this is really like what activates, like, okay, we're in. Yeah. Like, this is when the movie like really is just like, boom, okay.
Down to literally the clock strikes, ding, 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 it goes. Yeah. Here we go. It's time to defend this house. Yeah,
and like, and I love how like even like Kevin McCallister's his whole like his family was like he was like kind of disappointed with his family and everything, and he was like upset with them, and like I love how the Marley like brings it back to that too. It's like, well, me and my son are on the rocks too. Like, that just kind of happens. Families are complicated. Like all that. Like, it's just like a super sweet moment. Like it really like. I feel like we were talking about. I feel like Catherine O'Hara is the heart of this movie, and I feel like Marley also has a lot to do with that. Because like we'll talk about when it gets to the end, but like the stuff that happens with him is like really what like sets me off crying towards the end of the movie. Like him like holding his granddaughter, and you got that big John Williams score like swelling. You got Kevin like in the window, he's smiling, his like family, like it's just like it's this perfect storm of just like everything coming together and just like exploding emotionally. Like, it's just like it's perfect. It's so good. So then now we get into it.
Yeah, it goes down.
Now we get in. So there's been the whole thing where Marv and Harry have thought that the house is like being lived in. We didn't talk about the fact that like Kevin sets up this whole fucking like party in the house with like all these cardboard cutouts. He's doing the whole dance. It's just like, it's so good.
Wow.
He's got the little leg too. Like it's
Michael Jordan on the train. Classic, dude.
You have like a mannequin just like going around on a record player and everything. Like,
his ingenuity is beyond belief.
This kid is an engineer now.
He's
I know that.
An engineering marvel. He's a what's the word I'm looking for? He's a prophet of sorts.
Yeah. Either that or he's like in criminal justice and he's like the greatest detective of all time or something.
Yeah, he's got a future somewhere else.
For sure. Smart as a tack.
Yeah.
Like
really, I trust him with my life.
For sure. I mean, so, and we'll talk about this a little towards the end. We'll just talk about it now. But like, there has been a lot of conversation, especially by me, when you compare this movie and Die Hard and how they're pretty much exactly the same. Like, it's literally about like, there's a guy, he's in a place, burglars come into this place, and now he's got to like stop them by like going around the house, like setting up a bunch of different traps and just like torturing them for the whole night. Okay. And like, here's the thing. Who would you rather have, Kevin McCallister or John McClane defending you? It's a bit of a toss-up.
It is and it isn't. John McClane can lay down some serious fire.
True.
I don't know how well. I know Kevin's a sharpshooter with that BB gun, but John McClane's a sharpshooter with that pistol.
True.
So it depends. If we're going life and death, I think I'm going to go John McClane.
That's fair.
I would take Kevin McCallister in like the meeting room of like planning it out. I would take him. But like once we're in the field, I think I gotta go John McClane.
That's fair.
Buddy's got a serious rapport.
I would like to see someday a switching of roles. I'd like to see Kevin McCallister in a Die Hard. Like I would have loved to see like, okay guys, Home Alone, huge success. Die Hard, huge success. Here's what we're gonna do. Macaulay, you're gonna go make a Die Hard movie. Bruce Willis, you're gonna be in a Home Alone. We're gonna see how this goes. And just like
maybe one day, man. Maybe
one day. Why is that not like an SNL sketch or like some animated skit that someone has done? Like I feel like I need to see how does Kevin McCallister handle Christmas Eve in Nakatomi Plaza? Like I'd love to see that shit go down.
I think we need to write into SNL. I think we got something here.
Like what horrors would Hans Gruber have had to deal with if Kevin McCallister was the one fucking shit up?
Yeah, he might have been screwed, man.
For sure. Look out for that Die Hard episode coming late December. Very excited. It's going to be great. But so there's the whole setup where Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, they've been like trying to figure out how they're going to attack this house. And they've realized, oh, he's been alone the whole time and he's gotten the best of us because he's just like the smartest kid on the planet. And I guess we're a couple of bozos. Like that's, oh God. All that shit is so good too. When he's like Kevin McCallister is like playing them like a goddamn fiddle, just like every turn, even before like this whole third act.
No facts.
But then so Kevin makes the before mentioned macaroni and cheese, the kind of mac and cheese that God serves in heaven.
Yes.
And so we've had we see him setting up all this stuff. Like we see him pouring water onto the steps and everything.
By the way, it's a very satisfying scene for me is watching what's that called? I just went blank. Just when they show a bunch of stuff. Montage. There we go. Yeah. Thank you. One of the more satisfying montages is watching him set up all that stuff. For sure.
Well, because it's just also just like, here's the thing that's great about this too. There isn't a ton of setup. Like, obviously they've done some stuff early in the beginning, like all the stuff he owns and all that stuff, but like there's really just like, what is he doing with those paint cans? What's he doing with that? I guess
the first time going through it, you have no clue what
to do with that. What the hell is this kid doing? Like what's he doing with the blowtorch? What is he doing with like
the iron on the door handle?
Yeah, like what's going on?
Or him putting the
tar on the steps and everything like that. Like, what is this guy doing?
I also wanted to point out, I was like, how in 1 hour did he manage to do all of this stuff? He's so quick.
Dude, listen, here's the thing. You also have to think, he's been planning for a while. Because, like, he literally pulls out the blueprint when it's like, oh, I got home.
Yeah, fact.
So, like, he's been brewing for a little bit. He knows where all this stuff is. He's had it ready. He just needs to set it up.
That's fair.
So, man, one of the heights of comedy in film we're about to talk about right here. These 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Listen, it doesn't matter if I'm 4 or 24 years old. This shit makes me cackle like a hyena every single time. Like, it fucking nails it every single time I watch it. It does not get old.
No, I noticed, I went into it too, noticing what you were talking about, how because it's a PG movie, Joe Pesci couldn't say the F word, so he has to do everything to stop it. And it says it 100 times. It's so funny.
Like, I love that shit. He's just like, and we'll talk about, well, I guess, like, do you know, okay, so Home Alone comes out 1990, November 16th. You want to know what movie comes out, like, almost 2 months before?
What, Goodfellas?
Goodfellas.
Which is crazy different than, it goes to show, I wanted to just touch on this.
Yeah.
This is why Joe Pesci's top 5 actor of all time, because to be able to go to such extremes and be absolutely brilliant in both in terms of comedic timing and comedy and all that ridiculous antics, to being serious and being a ruthless killer and still having those same sort of qualities, but now they have a scarier tone to them.
Yeah.
This is why Joe Pesci. And then if, I know you, man, if we want to go into The Irishman and want to talk about how calm he is, which is another brilliant role, Joe Pesci is one of the GOATs.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think Goodfellas, he's super frightening. Yes. Like, there's still that comedic edge to him. Like, I'm laughing my ass off most scenes that Joe Pesci is in.
Like, what, funny like a clown? Huh?
Yeah, exactly. He's hysterical. But, like, it's also just this edge to him where it's like, this man, I never know what he's going to do. Yeah. He frightens the hell out of me. He is a loose cannon. Yeah. And you're just, like, nervous every time he's on screen. Exactly. And this, you were just like, this man is getting taken out by an 8-year-old kid. And he's just, like, having the worst time. He's so, like, how willing he is to just, like, go through the ringer. Like, all this pain and punishment for a laugh. Like, I don't think he gets enough credit. But, like, these are 2 of the better, like, physical comedic performances in film.
It's a good
like,
one.
Dude, I mean, obviously, what's funny are the pranks and stuff, but, like, the reactions are just as good. Like, when he fucking opens that door and that blowtorch goes on his head, and he just screams uninterrupted for, like, 7 seconds. The face he makes, I'm dying laughing every single time. Like, so good. Yeah, it's just insane. It really is. Joe Pesci having the greatest, like, last quarter of 1990, like, killing it, because
killing it. He was a superstar.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just another great comedic Joe Pesci. Just shout out My Cousin Vinny, another family favorite. So good, one of the best.
Truly one of the best. Truly one of the best. That might be underrated again as a movie.
No, it is.
I mean, it's that the performance from Joe Pesci in that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's totally different. Now he's trying to be this, like, serious lawyer, but also, like, kind of like a dingbat, just like some of the things he says, like the way he dresses. And
yeah, absolutely.
Dude, with him and, was it Herman, what's the guy's name? The guy who, he's like at the, the guy who plays the judge. Anyways, it's not important, but the interactions that those 2 have and My Cousin Vinny are hilarious.
Yeah. And I mean, him and Marissa Tomei, obviously she won an Oscar for it. Like,
yeah, dude.
So good. So good. Literally, that's another one of those movies, like, in my house, if My Cousin Vinny is on, everyone is around the TV. We do not turn it off. Everyone's fucking having the best time in the world.
It's Danielson and Joe Pesci. Like, come on.
Absolutely. And, like, apparently, now, I can't speak to this because obviously I'm not a law student, but, like, apparently it's, like, one of the most accurate court dramas, like, ever. Like,
awesome.
It's so super accurate, like, down to the letter with how, like, the procedure is done and everything like that. So, like, that's pretty great. But yeah, man, like, so I guess we can kind of go through it. So you go to the back and they're, like, already going in, like, if you let us in, we'll be super nice to you and everything like that. And he's already, like, fucking getting the BB gun primed, just, like, straight up, fucking no mercy, just fucking shoots Joe Pesci's nuts off with a fucking BB gun. And Daniel Stern right in the face, like, immediately, no quarter. Kevin McCallister is going to war and he will not give you an inch.
Facts.
You have the ingenious, just like water on the steps for each of them. They're fucking hysterical. How they just like, Daniel Stern just like immediately going down. Like he can't fucking get up down there. He's got to like use the crowbar to like open the door.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Pesci can't stop falling down those stairs, just like straight on his ass. Right into him grabbing the door handle. Like, I mean, we can go through kind of like each event by each event, but just like they're so good at playing off of it. Like,
again, another iconic one is when he steps on that nail.
Dude, it literally it hurts every time I watch it.
Yes,
like, it's one of the most horrifying things ever because it gets so fucking deep too. Like he doesn't realize it for a bit, and he just
it's tough,
oh my god,
it's tough to watch.
Oh god, it hurts. And then he like has to like step on the ornaments and shit too.
Yeah, he gets fucked up.
Like especially like once again he's like back to like being Harry, I'm coming in. Like he's all, like, we're gonna fuck some shit up. And then just like when they finally meet again, like, why is your head? We didn't talk about the fucking iron falling on his head. Oh man, but, like,
that's one of my favorite interactions. He's like, why the hell you got iron smashed on your face? He said, why the hell you dressed like a chicken? Dude, it's fucking hilarious.
Guys, you better come upstairs.
Really, that might be the most iconic one of this whole movie is the paint cans.
The paint cans. Dude, the paint cans.
So
that's another one of those ones that just like, Jesus, that has to hurt.
Oh my God, that would be I also love in the second one how they play on that. And he's like, you're not going to hit me with this, and a huge iron ball. Yeah, this huge thing comes down. Hilarious.
And he's just like, oh, one more. Ah, let's go. Fucking
beautiful, dude. I love it. I love how they play.
I fucking love these movies so much.
Yeah,
they're so good.
It's hard to be bad.
Like, it's just pure like baseline comedy that just like hits you straight exactly where you want it to. Mm-hmm. Like, I imagine for most kids of our generation and all kids of any generation that grew up watching this movie, like, this is a foundational text for like what we find funny.
Yeah.
Like 100%. And I mean, there's so much good like play between Marv and Harry too, like especially when they get upstairs and there's the fucking tarantula. Like, and fucking
he's like, Marv,
what are you doing, Marv?
Yeah.
Marv.
He's like, just
fucking great. And then you do the thing in the treehouse, they fall down and everything like that. And just they chase them down. I love, because this could have been a super easy thing to forget. And like the movie takes this much time to like really think about it and have it be detailed. But like the fact he goes into the house they robbed earlier and that the fucking basement is flooded because they left the faucet running.
Yeah, Wet Bandits, baby.
The Wet Bandits, baby. So good. I fucking love that shit too. It's like, we're the Wet Bandits. All the great ones have their mark. Like, I love that.
It's pretty good. I love their interaction.
It's great. It's great. And then they're like, we're going to do everything you did to us, to you. And then you realize, wow, Kevin really did just do some shit to these guys.
He beat the hell out of them, dude.
Like, you imagine them flipping it on the kid, and you're like, oh my God, how could you do this to somebody?
Smash his face with an iron.
Like, Kevin McCallister, low-key a psychopath. Like, the fact he came up with all this shit.
Yeah, dude. He's a crazy genius.
Like, to come up with the nail, specifically, is like some evil mastermind shit.
On the fifth one, knowing, okay, he's going to lose his shoe, his socks. Like, the bro really thought it out.
Yeah, he was really just like, we got to be smart about this guy. And here's the great thing, too. There's a step in between the last sock and the nail. So there's the last sock, okay. One more step, okay, we're good. We're barefoot, we're getting up the stairs. And then to really drive it home, it's the next step. Like, that false sense of security, just like, we're going to fuck you up. It's methodical. It's perfect.
He's an evil genius.
Like we've been singing his praises even before we start talking about, like, this is just, like I said, it's transcendent, incredible.
Never gonna forget it.
I don't think there's a better 20-minute stretch in a family film. Like,
yeah,
just like how funny it is, like how satisfying it is. Like, really does not get much better.
Facts.
I think propels this movie to the success and its iconic status and that Christmas movie like has to be played or else it isn't Christmas like kind of status.
Absolutely.
And then Old Man Marley, he comes in to saves the day, bashes Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern across the head.
Yes, sir.
The cops come, they get arrested. They're able to pin all these robberies on them because they're the Wet Bandits, so they know every house they've hit because Marv just keeps turning on the fucking faucets. It's great. They're fighting before they get into the car too, and just like it's great. I love those two so much because like that's another thing. Obviously, I love Macaulay Culkin as Kim, but those two were really like these are the funniest people who have ever lived. Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern.
This combo of them is fantastic.
Yeah, they made me laugh harder than any other people like when I was a child. Like I love these two so much.
Absolutely.
Especially in the second one too, where their like, whole gig is they're the sticky bandits. There's a whole lot more of them. He's got fucking tape on his hand the whole time.
He sticks it in the fucking the Salvation Army bucket. What a piece of shit.
And the whole time Joe Pesci's like, really, man? I'm trying to be professional, and you're acting like a fucking like a child.
We're the sticky bandits.
Yeah, we're the sticky bandits.
Unbelievable.
Oh god, so good. So Kevin gets to like have his like big old shit-eating grin. It's like I fucking got you guys. You guys are going to jail. I gotcha. We didn't talk about Joe Pesci loses his gold tooth, and there's a whole like little reveal like, why is there a gold tooth in our foyer right now? Like, what happened here? And then we get to the whole like kind of like climax of the movie where, and there's a nice little moment where like, it's really one of those things where just like he's setting up for Christmas after everything that's happened. Like he's got the cookies, he's got the carrots in the celery for the reindeer, he's got the milk, he's making sure all the stockings are like all like
correct,
perfectly angular and everything. Like he's got it down. Like there are few movie characters who I think love Christmas as much as Kevin McCallister.
Well, like, I'd go with Elf.
Obviously, I said one of.
Fair. But
one
Elf,
of. That's a whole other barrel of monkeys that we're not.
Character in Elf might take the cake on that.
Oh, 100%. He's number one. But like Kevin McCallister, he's up there.
Okay.
Like this kid loves Christmas so much.
Fair.
Like that's the other thing too. Like I think this movie realizes how much kids love Christmas and like really takes advantage of that and like how much Kevin loves Christmas. Like because honestly, you could make this movie without the Christmas element and it's fine.
You could,
like,
yeah. It could have been any day of the week somebody just gets lost, but Christmas makes it fun. It makes it a Christmas movie.
Yeah, and like really adds to like the emotions of it. Because right after that, we get the scene where his mom finally gets home, and they have a nice little like couple of minutes where like they're not seeing each other. They're like going in different rooms and everything like that. Like that shit's funny. There's that whole thing where like he comes down the stairs and he's disappointed he doesn't see his family. And then like that's that like finally like they get to embrace each other. And like I love how Kevin to the end is still just like, I'm gonna fuck with her for a second and act like super mad for like 10 seconds and just like and then he gives like the big old smile. Right. That's great.
Yeah, you get all worked up emotionally. Then everyone shows up and it's and the whole family is there and you get a feel good moment. Yeah,
and it's just like, yeah, we waited for the plane on Friday like I told you to. That's why I'm here. Like,
yeah, they get home 10 minutes after her. It's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. Not even, like, maybe 5. Yeah, 5 tops.
5.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then they're all just like, I love the whole just like, everyone's just like, wow, what'd you do while you were away? I went shopping yesterday. Wow. Like
I bought the milk, the fabric softener, and toilet paper.
Yeah.
The eggs.
And there's the whole just like, what else did you get up to while we were away? Oh, just goofing around. And like in the back of his head, I tortured 2 grown men and sent them to prison.
And then one of my favorite endings on a movie is when it's you just hear Buzz from his room. Kevin!
Well, it's like, and right before that too, we were talking about that super emotional moment earlier where like you see Old Man Marley, like he called his son. They're going to spend Christmas together. He gets to hug his granddaughter and spend Christmas with her. And he's like hugging her and he sees Kevin through the window and he gives like the little wave. There are tears in his eyes. There are tears in your eyes. There are tears in everybody's eyes. Kevin's got this big smile. Like you got that incredible John Williams score just like, like it's going crazy. Like literally like, John, it's time. And he's just like, all right, everybody. Double forte, let's fucking go. Like
all forces, go.
Yeah, it's just everyone's just like loudest you can play, fucking do it. It's Christmas, everybody. Like it's so good. And then you have that final last great button where it's just like, Kevin, what did you do in my room? Movie's over. what a fantastic film.
Beautiful.
Like,
I had fun just talking about it.
right? Like,
Uh-huh.
it's just so much fun. It is so much fun. It's so good. It has a great heart to it. It's like Christmas in a movie. Like we've gone through so much. Like, it's just incredible the power this movie has. And like, I know obviously there's some detractors, like, and shit like that. It's just like, it's just a kid's movie and everything. But like, honestly, like, I love this movie when I was a kid. I love it now. Like, I can't imagine a time where I don't love this movie. Like, this is one of the movies.
I will be showing my kids this movie.
Absolutely. This is one of the first movies you show them. Like, when they're like 4 or 5 years old.
Christmas. Boom.
Like, Christmas. Guys, I'm going to blow your minds real quick and give you the greatest thing you've ever seen.
You want to see why my childhood was awesome? Check this out.
Yeah. Like, I can't imagine a kid ever, like, watching Home Alone being like, nah, this ain't all that. It's like, because like we said, it's literally like a fantasy for a child.
Yeah.
Like, be left home alone, be left to their own devices, unsupervised, and do whatever the hell they want.
100%.
And then there's all the Christmas stuff to it. Like, and you got Pesci and Stern giving these incredible performances. Like, truly.
Like I said at the beginning, it appeals to all levels. It's perfect how they do it. So,
I mean,
genius.
Yeah. I said it before, I said it again. Just like straight up perfect movie. Straight up. So, how much do you know about Home Alone's success as far as just like box office wise and everything?
I don't know like the numbers wise, but I mean, I know it was a huge success.
So obviously, yes, huge success. We're going to go through this because it's actually the kind of this incredible phenomenon.
Okay.
So it was number one at the box office for 12 straight weeks after it released in November 16th.
Okay.
It's the highest grossing movie of 1990. So I didn't want to spoil it, but like Joe Pesci has an Oscar contender. He's going to win an Oscar, and he's also in the highest grossing movie of the year in 1990. It is the highest grossing live action movie. Not highest grossing live action movie. Highest grossing live action comedy until The Hangover 2 comes out in 2011.
Wow.
By the end of its run, at the time, it was the third highest grossing movie just ever, all time, behind Star Wars and E.T.
It's crazy.
Let's see. I got a couple other stats that I want to go through.
Tell you how upset I am that Hangover 2 beat it, because Hangover 2 is not a good movie.
It's not great, but like inflation and everything like that, it's the same thing with Star Wars and E.T. Like, these should still be top 10 highest grossing movies of all time.
This is why, I'm gonna be honest, I know we might have our quarrels here, but this is why I get worked up when people talk about how, like, oh, everyone went to the Marvel movies and they've got the most, highest grossing. It's like, yeah, because you've got 80 billion people going to it. Of course, like, what? I get so worked up about the numbers today. Like,
absolutely.
You can't compare to some of the numbers 30, 40 years ago because just not as many people were going. There weren't as many people.
Yeah. I mean, not even 10 years ago, because I remember.
Literally, dude.
As a kid, like, I think I was around like 12, like when Dark Knight came out, I was like checking every day. The box office told us, was like, is it going to pass Titanic? Is it going to pass $1 billion? Like, I was just like glued because it was like still kind of like crazy for a movie to do this kind of like. So this movie made $476.7 million worldwide. Mm-hmm. It made $285.8 million in just the U.S. and Canada alone. Like, that's huge. Like I said, third highest grossing movie of all time up to that point.
Crazy.
Like, and now it's like every like 3 months there's a movie that makes $1 billion. It's just like, it's not as special anymore. Like, I remember when Dark Knight crossed $1 billion, it was like a huge deal. And then the same year after, when Avatar made $1 billion, it was like, oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
Like, there were only 3 movies at that point to have ever done it, I think. It was just like Avatar, Titanic, Dark Knight, I think maybe Lion King.
Now maybe the only other release gets this.
Yeah. But like, literally, like, this movie came out in November. It was still playing in movie theaters the next summer and like was still like in the top 10 box office. That's like wild. No movie does this anymore just because like the cycle is just too fast.
Yeah.
And like, obviously that's because of like, obviously home media now is a huger thing.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Which like 1990, that's barely even something.
Doesn't really exist outside of like having HBO and cinema like on your TV subscription.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's a Netflix certainly didn't exist.
Like maybe Kevin McCallister and his family have a VHS. I don't know if Uncle Frank has a VHS. Is like
no, literally, facts.
Like literally, that's the thing. It's like just different times. So like
I owned Home Alone on VHS.
Yeah,
that's a different.
So
time.
Like, who even knows like what that whole landscape looked like? But like to know that this movie was like November to summer, people were still like, I want to see Home Alone still, is like kind of incredible.
Absolutely.
Like, and the fact that like, so the like highest amount of screens it was playing was like in its 8th week. Like this movie just slowly just kept going, kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And like that's what I'm talking about when like the stuff with like Macaulay Culkin, literally like the 3rd highest grossing movie of all time, and your face is the poster. And like it's not like E.T. where like E.T. is the big draw and like Spielberg and everything like that. No, like it's literally just
Macaulay
like
Culkin is
your face.
Yeah.
Like this is you. Like you doing the whole just like is like the biggest thing in the world.
Literally.
Like it's insane how successful this movie was.
Facts.
And like obviously it's why in 1992 they were immediately just like, yeah, we're making a second one. Like absolutely, like that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, that one honestly, I mean, Home Alone 2 is great. I love it, but that movie was definitely numbers. Like you saw it, you were like, we got to make another one.
Absolutely.
Because you didn't down. You didn't. I'm down for it, but you didn't have to. One Home Alone would have been enough.
100%. I mean, listen, I like 2 a lot still, but it's like it's comparing like apples to oranges. Like this movie is like incredible, while Home Alone 2 is like, oh, pretty good. Like, oh, we have the first one, like the second one's coming on right after. Let's like watch the second one. Like obviously we're gonna watch the second one right after.
Right.
Like love Home Alone 2, but like this is just like in a different league.
100%. 100%. About it.
Absolutely. So, I don't know, is there anything else we have to say about Home Alone?
I think we have thoroughly covered.
All
the way down to the cheese pizza and the macaroni. We've got this.
We went on tangents about the pizza and the mac and cheese.
I don't know. We're gonna see it here as soon as we're done recording. But I mean, I'm checking the time. I think this is like almost 2 hours.
Probably. I think this is probably definitely like our longest episode. I'm proud of it. Like I'm proud that it's like we really fucking went in on this one. Like I'm excited.
It's deserved.
It is, because this movie just like there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on. Like I said, this is a movie we've been watching since we were like 5 or 6 years old. Sure. So like it's a movie we know by heart, something we can like delve into immediately, talk about.
I didn't even have to watch it last night. I did because it's fantastic, but I could have not watched it and we could have said all of this stuff still.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did this whole thing, thank you so really congratulations. Like, I'm gonna say
shout out again to the people who are watching, because our watch time is going up consistently every week.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That, nobody's putting a gun to your head and telling you to watch this longer. So like whoever you are out there.
Absolutely. Like, and especially Christmas is time of like brotherly love and giving and like all that stuff. So like truly bottom of our hearts, Merry Christmas. We're going to be doing all this stuff for the next 2 months. We've got a lot of Christmas movies up on the schedule. It's a Wonderful Life is probably coming at some point. Like I said, Die Hard. My favorite Christmas movie, because I'm a fucking nerd who likes to say dumb shit like that Die Hard is my favorite Christmas movie. But also just because Die Hard's a fantastic movie. And a great companion piece to this one.
Yes.
So yeah, once again, thank you all for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Home Alone, because once again, I feel like this is a movie that's very personal to a lot of people, something they all grew up with. Obviously, it is for us. We'd love to hear your experiences with the movie, like your memories of like watching it with your family on Christmas, all of that good stuff. We'd love to hear about that. Watch some of our other videos. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We'll have our links down in the description for you there if you want to come follow us there. And we will see you. Well, actually, yeah, we'll see you next week.
See you next week, people. All right.